Okay then, now I'm pretty happy with my game, but top tip, whenever you're working with Scratch, if you're using the offline version, please make sure that you regularly save your work. Okay? Worst thing that could happen to you is finish this lesson, don't save your work, someone logs you off, and the next week you've got to do it all over again. Anyway, let's go back to the game. At the moment, I've got a whacking hammer, happy with it. It's following the cursor, great. But what should happen is that when I whack the beetle should disappear, and then a new beetle should appear somewhere on the game area. Now, there's a couple of things here. Number one, every time I start this game, that beetle, to stop, is always in the same place. I'd like that beetle to be somewhere else. I also think that beetle's a bit on the big side. So let's have a look at the beetle. I'm going to click on it, and I can see the code, set size to 50%. I'm going to change that to 30, press the game. Yeah, I think that's a better size. Now, how do I make it go to a random position? In fact, we've already done that because we used it in our last one, say go to the cursor, to go to the mouse pointer. We used that on the hammer. It's that same block. And now, check it out. The beetle's up there. Stop the game, the beetle's over there. In fact, I'll just keep pressing this green flag and you can see the beetle's jumping all around all over the screen. And that's what I want to happen. When the game starts, I don't know where the beetle's going to be. I'm going to go and whack it. It should appear anywhere. But what should also happen is the following. When I've hit the beetle needs to disappear and then reappear somewhere in the game. So the beetle could be here and then I whack it and then it appears down here and then I whack it and then it appears over here and then I whack it and it appears somewhere else on the screen. And the whole point of this particular game, and the way we're going to keep it quite simple, is we might have a time limit of 30 seconds. You've got to see how many beetles you can whack in 30 seconds and it will keep a score. But we need that beetle to disappear and then reappear somewhere else in the game. So how do we do that? Well, this is your task. I'm going to give you the blocks and you see if you can solve it. So these are the blocks that you're going to need. Number one, you need to say if the beetle is touched by the hammer, then disappear. So how do we get an if command? Well, if we go to control, we find something called if then. And I need that block. Now you'll notice this sort of shape here. And in here, we need to put a special block. And we find it in sensing here, the one below. And there's one here that says, if touching, and you'll notice there's a drop-down arrow. If I'm touching the hammer, then I need to disappear. Now to disappear, we need to change the way something looks. And at the moment, it's we can see it. But right down the bottom, you've got to scroll a little bit, so I'll put it up the top now. There's a block to hide. So, we need that one. But then, what we need to happen is this. So if I'm touching the hammer, I must disappear. And then, I must go to a random position. Well, we know that block. It's that one. And then, I must reappear. Well, if I'm going to hide, I then need to, and again, it's right down the bottom, I'll scroll, whoops, up, I need to show. So, what I want you to do is take these blocks of code here, let's put them there, take these blocks of code here and see if you can change the code on the beetle so that if you're touched by the hammer, you're going to disappear, you can go to a random position, and then you're going to show again. The problem I have is this. That only does that once. Just like whacking the hammer, I need one more block. I'm going to let you think about what block that is, and see if you can put it all together. But you'll know if it's right, because you'll whack a beetle, and it will pop up somewhere else on the screen. See if you can solve it.